Hey, everybody. Welcome to LISD podcast number 3. My name is Bill Lee. We're coming to you live from the beautiful Tech West studios here in downtown, or close to downtown, Lewisville, Texas. And if you remember, the reason we do these podcasts, there's a lot of reasons, but the number one reason is we like to show what sets LISD apart from everybody else. As you know, there's a lot of things. And the way we really do that is we interview key staff members of LISD. We bring them in and we talk to them about their particular specialty. And today is no different. We have Miss Monya Crow with us, who Monya's title is Executive Director of Counseling and Social Work Services. Right? I got that right? So, one of the things, Monya, that I always talk about, as you know, and I just said a little bit about it, any place I speak, I always talk about parents have a choice, students have a choice in their education. It's become a very competitive environment for education these days, obviously. So one of the things, it's always like, well, what sets LISD apart? And a lot of the ways that I talk about that and what I roll into that is what are our strengths, which we have many. So I always like to ask this to all my guests here. What do you think is a major strength of LISD?
Good morning, Bill. Thanks so much for having me here. I think without question, one of LISD's greatest strengths is that we have support from the top down and side to side. There is no absence at all of support for whatever initiatives are best for kids. And I think that with that being our driving force in every department, all the way from our leadership team to our board of trustees, making sure that our decisions are rooted in what's best for kids absolutely sets us apart.
Yeah, no, you're so right. I think that as I get to speak to other groups that are outside school districts, they just don't seem to have that. A lot of them don't. And so that's one of the things that I just talk about so much. I like to talk about our teachers as well. That one of the comments I always say is that, our teachers treat our kids as if they are their own.
Absolutely. I think that despite how large LISD is, we still have a very personal touch when it comes to our stakeholders, our kids, our parents, our community members. We are absolutely all in this together. And that is evident in our open door policy and making sure that we are collaborative with everybody that has a vested interest.
You're so right. And I know that another way that I found that out is when I was talking to these smaller groups that have the neighborhood schools, our elementary schools mainly that are in these neighborhoods, how the moms and the parents, everybody is so involved that they just think that LISD hung them in. They love the teachers, they love the executive staff, and they really come out to support us in times like that.
They absolutely do. There's no absence of our community members and our families even reaching out to us and saying, what can we do to help? Who needs our support? And that has definitely been one of the deciding factors in our success overall. Even in our department, we have so much support and so much community help that it really allows us to say we can take care of and support everyone in its district.
I would imagine a lot of our surrounding communities are envious of that.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I think so. Now, you and I met not too long ago. Mm-hmm. And that was a great meeting. And that's the other thing that I really love about doing this is because I get to go out and have a one-on-one discussion with the executives of these departments within LISD. And I'm still learning. Mm-hmm. So, and what I'm trying to do is to take that information and pass it on the best way that I can. And we talked about a lot of things, but one of the interesting things was the role of counselors. Can you kind of just go over that a little bit and tell us how that works?
Absolutely. The role of the counselor has evolved quite a bit over the last 10 years. It certainly started many, many years ago as more of a guidance role, more of a focus on that academic advising piece. And our great state of Texas has recognized that role has needed flexibility and adaptation. And so several years ago, the legislature passed some laws that really outlined what the role of the counselor in the state of Texas would do. And that now is very well-rounded. It's a focus on the whole child. And so it is definitely something now that much better supports our kiddos in anything that they're bringing to the table.
I know, and you just said it, the whole child We talked specifically about that when we met too. Can you kind of expand on that a little bit?
Absolutely.
I remember I learned a lot about that. I didn't know a lot about that, how it goes all the way. I mean, it goes much deeper than what a lot of people just think what that means.
It certainly does. In LISD, we believe that our charge is to support the whole child. And so what that means is that from a social and emotional level, from an academic level, from a family systems level, whatever it is that they're bringing to the table, we want to make sure we're doing our very best to support them in their entirety. Because we know that oftentimes kids come to school without the best set of circumstances. And so if we do not provide support in those arenas, it makes it much more difficult for them to learn. And our goal here is to help them be the best learners that they can be. We have a parent series called the Whole Child Series, and we touch on topics for parents all the way from, my kid's going to middle school, what can I expect, to my kid has anxiety and I need some tips on how to best support them.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned family. So that's another thing I remember that I didn't know on that our counseling services extend just beyond what normal people think of a student going down the hall, having an appointment with a counselor, right? I mean, we actually get involved in the family where, it involves much more than just the student if needed.
Absolutely. Right? Certainly, we love the fact that schools are safe places for families, and we are often the first point of contact when a family has circumstances going on and they're not sure who to turn to or where to get help. And so we have definitely embraced that opportunity to be the one-stop shop. We added the social work piece to the name of this department about 3 years ago. And that was solely because we wrapped in social workers into the services that we provide. And they have a heavy focus on that family system, making sure that they are connecting families to the resources they need and kind of helping that entity, all of them to get back afloat.
You mentioned social workers. And we talked about that, I know too. Can you just give us an idea of how your staff works because you have regular counselors on staff and then you have social workers and then you have assistants or aides or something, right?
So we have our traditional professional school counselors on each campus. In addition to that, over the past 3 years, we've added several specialized roles in the field of mental health and social work. And so we've got itinerant social workers and student assistance counselors that serve grades K through 12. And we actually have our high school staffed with a specialized student assistance counselor that focuses on mental health as well.
Okay, awesome. Now, I know there's a lot of what I call misunderstood things that are out there about our counselors and about what they do. What are some of the most misunderstood beliefs that you think people have?
I think one misunderstood belief is that they are only reactionary, that maybe they wait until a kid has a problem or an issue that the kid might bring to them. And counselors are actually incredibly proactive. There is a lot of work being done to support our kids who might need healthy coping skills or good study skills or looking at plans for post-secondary or graduation. So they have a lot of intentionality in the role that they serve in making sure kids get what they need.
Okay. Now, next thought, dual credit.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was some confusion, probably more confusion on my end about how I'm very familiar with our Collegiate Academy and how dual credit works there. But you'd mentioned it in our last meeting and how our counselors are actually involved in that too. What is the difference between what a student can take regular dual credit courses versus what they're doing, what we're offering at the Collegiate Academy in the Colony?
So all of our students in high school in grades 11 and 12 can take dual credit classes, which would gain them college hours in addition to that high school credit. What sets Collegiate Academy apart is in partnership with Collin College, those students begin their college classes as freshmen and have the opportunity at the end of 4 years to walk away with a high school diploma as well as an associate's degree.
Wow. I love to talk about that. I talked to a group yesterday about that, and it's just amazing when I throw things out there where you can just see them looking at each other and go, I didn't know that. Yeah.
We actually had acceptances this past Tuesday for our next cohort. So we had the privilege of going around to the middle schools and telling those 8th grade kids congratulations, you're a college student, and having them pick up their cell phones and call their families. And there was tears of joy and excitement all around. It's such an incredible opportunity.
And also along the lines of the roles of counselors again, do people kind of think that counselors really only play a role for high school students versus, I mean, we cover the whole gamut, right? We got 69 campuses. We got 50,000 students.
We absolutely do. And I think that one of the other probably misnomers is that high school is where a lot of that academic advising focus starts, when in fact we start it as early as kindergarten. We start to talk to students about what do you want to be when you grow up and where your interests lie. So it definitely has a very large breadth of the counselor's work in grades all up and down.
I'm glad you said that, because I really have the honor sometimes to go speak to our high schools about business and business opportunities and things like that. There's so much opportunity out there for kids that may not be fit for college. The world's changing a little bit along those lines. That's not a death sentence if you can't go to college or it's not working for you.
Absolutely. A couple of years ago, Texas kind of quantified that thought in what's called CCMR, which is college career or military readiness. And so that is a charge of us in public education, is to ensure that our kids are ready for either of those opportunities once they walk across our stage. One good example is the building we're sitting in right now.
I was going to say that. Absolutely right.
Amazing certificate programs for our kids. In addition to that, our campus counselors are all connected to military recruiters, in addition to the college admissions officers. So we make sure that we have all the resources we need for whatever path a student may feel like they want to take.
Speaking of that, with our career centers, they even have their own counselors here, right?
They absolutely
that are located within our career center.
Yes, we have one counselor at each of our two career centers, and they focus definitely on the programs that are here that are offered and ensuring that the kids get connected to not only the programs here, but in addition, internships and mentors in our community that are associated with the programs they're in.
So parents could pretty much rest assured that they're going to get, and their students are going to get, the right advice for graduation help. What happens in this case, and also what do you tell the students that just say, even when they're graduating, they're a senior and they're going to graduate, and they say, I don't know what I want.
It would be very rare in LISD for a graduating senior to have no clue. And part of that is because we have been...
I had no clue.
Yes,
I was wrong.
Right. I didn't either.
Yeah.
But now there is so much intentionality and forethought that we have these conversations with kids from such an early start that we continue to put in front of them ideas and opportunities and thoughts so that by the time they graduate, they have a plan. It's not just our goal to get them across the stage. It's our goal to get them across the stage and the confidence that they're ready for whatever is next.
That's amazing. So parents, you've heard it. You heard it right there, that if you have a student that hasn't quite figured it out yet, we can certainly help them with that. Right?
Absolutely.
That's not the kiss of death just because they don't know what they want to do. Right.
Absolutely. We are here to help.
So, Monya, what would you tell? One of the things that also I like to, a lot of the video interviews that we do, I like to ask the question of trying to reach a parent that may be on the fence about sending their student to LISD. And we talk about all the reasons, of course, why to do it. But if there's issues, if they have any kind of issues and they're hesitant about the school that they're in or where they're thinking, what might we tell them, or you tell them from a counselor standpoint, that LISD is a great home no matter really what the issues are?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that comes from our philosophy of meeting kids and families where they are. We absolutely love for parents to pick up the phone and give us a call and say, I have questions or I'm unsure, whether it be the role of the counselor or the AP or the principal. We definitely love to have those conversations with families so that we can answer any questions they have. But I think overarchingly, I would want to assure them that we are here to meet the needs of their student and their family. And that is part of our philosophy.
Awesome. And I think, and I kind of said it when we first started talking about, when we first opened today, about what makes us different. And those are the things that I'm constantly highlighting. And I just love talking about those things because they're so amazing. And I always speak about the Collegiate Academy. our STEM academy, our firefighting academy, the fact that we have nurses on every campus, that's one of my biggie. And of course, our counseling, our special education, our language department, on and on and on. I could go on and on and on. But one last thing that, as a mom yourself, and as our executive over our counseling, the little elevator pitch that you might say to somebody that really sets LISD apart from everybody else. What would you say? What is that?
Well, I think that it's a testament that I have all 4 of my children in LISD, and I trust LISD implicitly with their journey and their pathway. But kind of as I mentioned before, I think that LISD is set apart because we are not a one-size-fits-all district by any stretch of the imagination. And we are open to feedback and thoughts and collaboration and ideas. And we implore our families to let us know how we're doing. And we want to make sure that we have those continued conversations with them. So this is a partnership in LISD. It is not sending your kid and hoping for the best. It is walking the journey together.
Well, you guys have done a phenomenal job. What an awesome department that we have. And it's just one more thing that we can be so proud of that I think sets us apart too. Like I say, I had the honor to always talk about where I said it yesterday that anybody that listens to me, I want to talk up LISD, and it's just one of the things that I always hit. So tell us how people can contact you or contact your department if they have issues, if they want to just talk. What's the best way for them to get with you guys?
There are many options. So I would certainly say if you are interested in talking to me, you can find my email and phone number on the LISD website under departments and counseling and social work. You can also reach any of your campus counselors. Their email signatures have their direct phone line in them, so that you can make sure that you're definitely one phone call away, one click away from getting in touch with someone that you need.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Monya, for coming out today. We really appreciate your time. We know you're really busy. So thank you, Monya. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Monya Crow from our counseling department. And I'd like to remind you that you can always go to bestschoolsintexas.com/podcast to not only see this one, but our other 2 podcasts that are out there and future podcasts. So from all of us here, I'd like to thank our crew. As I've said before, our entire operation is run by our students here at Tech West, and we really appreciate their help. They do an awesome job. So until next time, from all of us at LISD, have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you next.